Some families are virtually perfect. The world's population is soaring, creating overcrowded cities and an economic crisis. A growing number of people can no longer afford to start families, let alone raise them. But for those desperate to experience parenthood, there is an alternative. For a monthly subscription fee, clients can create a virtual child from scratch who they can access via the metaverse and a VR headset. To launch this new initiative, the company behind Virtual Children has created a reality TV show. It will follow 10 couples as they raise a virtual child from birth to the age of 18, but in a condensed 9-month period. The prize? The right to keep their virtual child, or risk it all for the chance of a real baby.
Pause this video right now. Go and read The Family Experiment by
John Mars. And when you've read it, you can join us for the discussion.
Or you can join us anyway, because we're going to tell you all about it. My name's Elijah.
And I'm Joseph, and welcome to the iShow Library.
You forgot about the intro, didn't you? You forgot about the intro.
No, I didn't. Just normally, like I was going to say something after it. I didn't forget about the intro. You're the one who forgets about the intro.
I didn't write... Well, what did you think of the book? Normally I write down what I think of it. It's in a spoiler free, but I forgot to. But what did you think of the book?
I really liked the idea. I liked how it started straight away. I thought I would like to give it maximum points for the idea. Yeah. There was obviously, as always, some stuff I didn't like about it, but really teething issues. Really, I think
overall, I think it's one of the better books we've read in recent times.
That's fair to say.
And it was worth reading, and it makes you think about the future and about AI and how the world will change sooner or later. I think it was worth reading. I think if you read it, you're not going to be disappointed that you read it. So I think it's worth it.
Definitely.
But let's get straight into it. Yes, infidelity, my favourite. The gambling addict and his wife. I don't remember their names.
It was Jaden and Selena.
Yes, I wrote it down. But the man fathered 3 children within a 1-mile radius, and his wife was oblivious. Real bad man.
Top work
But can
ethic.
you imagine being in that situation? I wonder how long he would have got away with it had it not been the snitch by the unknown mysterious character. In the husband's defense, he was actually being paid $10K from each of the women as he was technically a sperm donor.
You have to.
Not surprisingly, the only question his wife was interested in was, but did you sleep with them?
Yeah. She was like, but how did this, was it a petri dish? Did you give them the sperm and leave? And then he was like,
I don't know why he didn't lie. Why didn't he lie?
Listen, maybe he was bored of lies. Maybe he was just fed up.
He had enough.
Get it
My
out there.
question is, why does he let his wife tell him what he can and cannot do with his own dick? It's a bit controlling, isn't it?
No, Ned.
But yeah, no,
it's not the same.
That was interesting though, because that was the straight she asked that question. Yeah, but how did you sleep with them?
No, that's an important question. You do need to ask that because you can't deny you would feel differently about it. So, for example, your wife or whatever, she's like, I sold my eggs, didn't ask you, you'd probably still be upset. Who knows how you would feel about that? But if she's like, yeah, I slept with somebody else and then I'm going to give the baby, that's totally different from selling your eggs. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, so being a surrogate. When you said selling eggs, I thought you meant like taking and giving, but you meant someone's renting her womb.
Or anything, to be honest. Even if she sold her eggs, even if she just sold her eggs.
I could never.
What? Have your wife be a surrogate?
Sorry.
Well, obviously they're not, it's not the traditional method. They're inseminating.
I don't care.
But what I'm saying is there's levels to it. So if they said to you, let's say your wife had to be a surrogate, obviously you would never. They said, we're going to inseminate her or there is a bedroom here that we're going to, and you get to choose which one. Obviously we know what you're going to choose.
That could never run.
That's our wife after that. Man shakes his daughter to death. On The Family Experiment, a game show where couples raise AI babies for likes and possible cash, there is a couple called Rufus and Kitty who want practice for a family of their own. On the show, contestants can vote to see their favourite couples have hurdles called the monthly challenge, like their baby developing a rare sickness to see how the couple copes with the problem. 2-week-old Olivia, the virtual daughter of Rufus and Kitty, was given a disease known as croup, a viral infection of the airways that kept her up at night screaming in distress. I consider myself quite a patient person, but there is only so much screaming one is prepared to handle before they snap. In a fit of frustration, Rufus violently shakes Olivia to death and is ejected immediately from the game show. What I found interesting is how many viewers felt qualified to judge Rufus for his poor parenting, his inability to put a baby to sleep, when they are the ones who voted for an infant to have a life-threatening disease. It's kind of like Amy Winehouse, where consumers are happy to sing along to her self-destructive lyrics and fund her alcohol abuse lifestyle, and then say shame on you to the producers who gave her a chance to do the thing that she loved to do.
That's an interesting point. But I mean, it was kind of the theme of the book where people, and this is probably the genius, which isn't, it is genius, but it's what would happen because, you know, people take the AI and they put feelings onto it and they feel sorry for the AI. It's just a human thing that we do where we put emotions onto things. But what I liked in the book is that we still felt things for the AI characters, which, you know, even though we know we shouldn't and we're judging the public in the book for doing so, we still have the feelings. So it's tough because we're reading letters. So when AI character in the book, let's say one of the babies, Olivia, is as real to me as the parents who are real. Because it's all on the same piece of paper. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of different for us. If you're in that world, exactly. Because you're going to be, you could be distressed or even traumatized by seeing some things, even if it's not real. Remember, we said if someone made a deep fake of your girlfriend getting railed by BBC, you're going to get.
We've already said.
We're gonna get traumatized.
You'll see it differently. You'll see it differently. You literally look at.
You liked it though, didn't you?
Bro, you were looking at it that night. It's not even.
But this is why women get traumatized by their own dreams.
Yeah,
this is literally why.
Because
it's
too real.
They say, "Oh, you cheating on me? Get off me! You in my dream, just cheating on me."
100%.
Man said, "You don't worry about the dream."
You went man said you went to sleep in a relationship, woke up single. You know, didn't even do anything. Might as well have cheated. If I'm gonna
question of the day. Every night, your girl moans the name of her ex-boyfriend in her sleep while she grinds her hips. Is that a breakupable offence?
The fact that you said every night, it would have happened one night and then I'm gone. It would happen one night.
Oh, the first night.
I'm not staying for it to be an every night thing.
Yeah, but okay. So all right. So let's say it happens a year, 2 years in, and it's just started all of a sudden. She can't control what happens in her dream. Imagine she's a 10-10. Perfect in every way, except she's like, oh, Kunta. I don't know why Kunta.
I was about to ask. There's got to be a story here. The hell, Kunta?
That was the first name that I could think of.
I'm not staying around. I'm not staying around for that.
It's not her fault.
I'm not staying around for that. Ain't my fault. I know it. Ain't mine. Ain't mine.
It feels the other
and
way
she
around.
ain't mine either.
So
clearly.
if it's the other way around and you was moaning your girl's name, do you think it's reasonable? You know, I had another question of the day. I'll use it for the next one. Just remind me, because there was another one I wanted to do. But I forgot to put it in. So yeah, you're gone. If it was the other way around, and you was the one moaning names, you think it'd be reasonable for her to cut you off?
I think it would be 100%. I would understand. I would probably feel differently about it, but I would understand at the end of the day. But these things aren't the same. When it's men involved, when our egos involved, it's not the same thing.
Yeah, true.
Like you need to in my house.
Yeah. Fair enough. All right, so your next one.
We managed to make that a quick one, which we never normally do. Yeah. So the family experiment is a game show where couples raise babies, AI babies, or meta babies for likes and cash. One contestant, the only single parent present, is named Hudson, like the boy from the flashback. I would consider it gaslighting of epic proportions if this were not the same Hudson. Anyway, why is Hudson fighting this? Why is he trying so hard to prove that one parent is as capable as two when it's just not true?
So this was as he was reading it.
Yeah. So Hudson was the only single parent that was on the show. He had a baby daughter called Alice, and the show's host was this woman called Autumn something, forgot. She was interviewing him and she was like, well, you're the only single parent on here. So like, do you feel like you're trying to put down everyone else's attempts by saying, I could do this on my own, bigger and better than all of you?
That was a ridiculous question.
That was a ridiculous question. And he was even getting gaslit a little bit. And he was literally just like, no, I'm not doing none of that. He was like, I'm just single. Like, what are you doing later? For example, like, I'm just single. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And then she was like, and then because he went through all the, technology to simulate childbirth, simulate pregnancy, gave himself menstrual cramps. He did all of this work. And she was like, but you can't really know what it's like.
Yeah.
Basically just shitted on all his achievements.
Well, it's funny you say that because that ties on to my next point. But I didn't understand what was going on with the Hudson in the beginning. I literally said, what's this Hudson chapter about? Because we got the time skip, which...
I decided not to mention
it. There was no time skips in Sky Shade, by the way. But it leads me on to my next point. If the interviewer is the same person, I like them. Because I didn't know if they were the same. It was the same interviewer interviewing every single candidate. And I said, I like their clever line of questioning and statements. Here's an example. I think it was the Hudson. No, I don't know if who it was to actually. Well, maybe it was to Hudson. Here's an example. Have you been keeping track of what people are saying about you online?
Yeah.
And he said
And they
no.
was like, no.
And he said, would you like to know?
Would you like to get the gist of it?
And then
They was like,
no.
they was like, no, thank
I'll
you.
tell you. I'll tell you in a second, Joseph. Anyway, she's like, no, I wouldn't like to know. She said, then I respect your wishes, but I hope you can change the opinion of those who think you aren't fit to be parents.
I'd have gripped her up. I'd have gripped her up.
Yeah, but then there'll be black hearts.
There'll be dislikes literally all over. Yeah, black hearts was a dislike,
yeah.
obviously, because black's the worst colour there is. When I saw that, I was like, why is it black hearts? The hell? Why isn't it just a thumbs down? Jesus Christ.
You did something there, Joe. No.
Bro, it's already there for us.
Bars,
thumbs up or thumbs down. That's literally
a black heart.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, gosh. I said, I do think it's a missed opportunity. The reporter could have been fleshed out into a proper character, but that was never the case. I can only assume that John Mars knew that there was obviously too many characters. I was like, yeah, no. But that's my main issue with the book. Well, I had two main issues, actually. The first issue was that there's too many characters. And that I would have liked John Mars, the author, to have made more effort to help us either remember the characters or at least start eliminating couples to get rid of excess characters. 17 chapters in and nothing has been done about it. So he did start eliminating characters, obviously.
Yeah, he had to.
But he had to. But he took too long. I think he should have whittled it down and then dealt with like 3 core couples, which is what he did do. But it was like further on down the book, we still had things going on.
The only writer I've ever seen to pull off this too many characters thing is George R. R. Martin. He's the only person I had to actually see some success.
Obviously, because the way he does it is the individual stories.
Yeah, the individual storylines.
And I mean, I think we had it in a book.
And realistically, there's only 3 characters in Game of Thrones. There's like Tyrion, Jon, and Daenerys. Realistically. I mean, there was some of it at the beginning that got killed off. Like, by the end of the show, you're like, there was 3 characters. Tyrion, Jon, Daenerys. Really.
Yeah.
So like, Arya obviously had a storyline which wasn't really part of, so there wasn't really too many characters there either. Woody and Tina and their dark secret. One of the couples on the family experiment, Woody and Tina, parents of 9-month daughter Belle, have a dark secret. A girl called Izzy, locked in the basement of their house, and as you may have prophesized, Izzy is their true daughter. So I was like, this is where the book's actually getting interesting now, because I was really kind of bored of the game show thing. I wasn't bored of it, but I was literally just like, if the whole book is just the game show, I'm not going to be...
Well, see, I wish the book was the whole game show, because I thought we could have got very, very creative with it, and he started to get creative with it, but not enough. And what I absolutely hated, which he redeemed in the end of the book, is the fact that every single character had some super far-fetched backstory. Whereas someone had fathered 3 children, someone had a psychopath murderous daughter.
They're locked in their basement as well.
Someone had a drug addiction.
Yeah.
Someone had and it was just like, come on, bro.
Bro,
like,
this one guy...
I think that literally ruined the book, but obviously, in the end...
One guy had 2 things. He literally had the gambling and the debt and the baby mothers. So I was literally like,
so it was just like, no one... Like, how have they luckily pulled together a group of people that all have this super interesting backstory?
What trauma?
It was just like, it was a book, like I read through, as I was reading the book, I was just like, this is ridiculous. But as I said, it was all made clear towards the end why everybody was like that. I like the story because it's very believable.
Oh my days.
I always do this, don't
Yeah, nah. At the perfect time as well. You've done that 2 points later, it wouldn't even have been...
I like the story because it's very believable. The audience would absolutely take the AI's babies too seriously. And here's an example that I found comedic. One of the couple's AI baby was the last to start walking. The viewers were asking why they hadn't sought professional help.
No.
For an AI baby.
Do you know what I mean?
The people were talking about calling the police for neglect, and somebody ordered a real-life pediatrician who wouldn't leave until they gave the virtual baby a once-over. It's like, come on, why are people like that? I suppose it's not their fault. We as humans are designed to be caring. Well, no, actually, our nature's quite brutal. But I think in certain social settings, we can be unnecessarily empathetic. And this is the reason why we have pets, for example, in this day and age. You know, we're super empathetic. We put our feelings onto pets, people, and even
plants,
AIs.
Yeah.
Even.
Selena and Jaden's dark secret. This book seems to be full of them. It really is like a real reality show where every couple has their baggage. Selena's baggage is that she cannot conceive a baby without an expensive IVF. That's one thing you forgot as well. That's, more trauma in our backstory. Yeah. Jaden's baggage is his crippling gambling addiction, which led to him racking up over £100,000 in debt. As we soon find out, however, Jaden's inability to stay away from the roulette tables is minor compared to the real skeletons he has rattling around in his closet.
I think 100 grand debts are worse.
Yeah, it could be, actually. His spouse, Selena, is so disturbed by his apparent natural fathering talent, so surprised at how well Jaden has taken to the role that it's almost as if he has done it before. Her suspicions prove to be well-founded when an AI therapist, after a glitch in programming, reveals that Jaden has not one, not two, but 3 other bitches with 3 other children. Well, that's 23 baby mother. Immediately, I had to give him a round of applause. Where does he even find the time or the work ethic to have 4 different families? Like, how do you do that? None of them know about each other. It's crazy. Obviously, we found out that they were paying him. But I genuinely, when I read it, I was like, oh, he's got 4 other families or whatever.
These women are supposed to have a sixth sense. How did she let that?
Because they don't have common sense. That's the problem. 6th sense, no common sense.
Aha! The author John Marth gave us the plot twist curveball that the story needed, with the crazy woman breaking into Selena and Jaden's house and murdering an unaware Jaden by hitting him over the head with a baseball bat, which was random. This literally turned out to be a random woman that was just put into the story to create some action. I agree the story needed something, but that was random and far-fetched.
Not that.
And didn't actually add to the actual story, because that woman ended up going to prison and that's where the plot ended. We didn't hear from her again. That was it. Just random murderer, kick off the door.
Police did their job. Brought the murderer to justice.
Literally, that was just random.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
How many points did you have, by the way?
8. So I'm on 5. About to say 5.
I've got 8 as well.
Yeah, and you're gonna say 5. You're gonna say 5 after this one.
I'm about to say 4. No, I was
about to say, how does this keep happening? Cadman and Gabriel would make quite an interesting question of the day. The gay couple on the family experiment both have quite polar opposite approaches to parenting. Gabriel seems to be interested in doing his best to be the best father he can be to River, their 9-month-old meta son. Cadman, by contrast, is interested in monetizing their virtual son's life, acquiring sponsorship deals and merchandising deals in order to boost their revenue. For example, there was a scene where River begins to crawl for the first time and Gabriel is ecstatic. Cadman, however, nonchalantly replies, "Good, now he can move around the house and all the merchandise will appear in front of our viewers on screen." Gabriel replies, "Why can't you just appreciate our son's moment instead of trying to monetize it? Isn't it a fake child that they're raising for internet views anyway?
Yeah.
Aren't they literally going to unplug the child at the end of the experiment? Seems unwise to become too attached, for one. Yeah. And for two, it's like, it felt like the message of that scene was like, Gabriel is right and he's the single dad trying on his own so hard and Cadman doesn't care.
Yeah, exactly.
When the point of this is to unplug the baby at the end.
Exactly. Well, this is, as I said, but it's very realistic because that's what would happen.
This show is
something that's going to happen in the future.
Yeah,
it's going to happen.
Bloodsport is what I called it in one of them clips when it was out. It's Bloodsport because like, what's the, we're unplugging real people. They're not real, but it's like we're going to unplug them. Exactly.
Great. Far-fetched, elaborate backstories for every single couple in this book. We have the gay couple, Cadman and Gabriel. Gabriel being the one who's recovered drug addict. Oh, you didn't see that one. You didn't hear that. You didn't notice that one. Gabriel.
Oh, dead.
And also a drug-induced cancer survivor. Okay, fine, not super far-fetched, right? Then we have Selena and Jaden. Jaden is not one, not two, but 3 secret babies in his own area. Okay, Jaden sounds like a black man's name, so it's possible, right? Then we have Dimitri and Zoe, who their 10-year-old son went missing a decade ago and is still missing, presumed dead. It's like, why has everybody got some mad backstory?
Yeah, come on.
Last but definitely not least, Woody and Tina, who have a psychopathic teenager who's committed murder back when she was in primary school, who's living on house arrest in a basement. One person having one of those backstories is like, fair enough. But it just seems staged. It seemed like it was an attempt by the author to write the most gripping book ever. And I started to lose faith. Just to note, the author did end up having a legitimate reason for that, which I accept, and we could talk about that later. But at that time, it really put me off the book. I couldn't understand why John Mars had decided that far-fetched, elaborate backstories for everybody was the best form of character development. At the time, I thought, why not have the parents go through trials and tribulations with their children? Like, for example, when the 8-year-old bot was self-harming. It was a perfect example of character building for the whole family. That's what I thought we were gonna deal with, and deal with the call and response basically from the audience and whatnot. That's what I thought this was gonna be about. I thought it was gonna be like a philosophical type of story, but we didn't really. We got aspects of it, and but we basically got a conspiracy at the end of it. That's
Yeah, it was a
literally
conspiracy.
what we got, a conspiracy. So I think the execution wasn't great.
Or it just went in a direction that you just didn't expect it to go, and I was like, it scratched the surface with the stuff that it made us think the book was going to be full of. It really scratched the surface with those things. I'm starting to think there are too many couples. Woody and Tina and their daughter in the basement, Zelina and her promiscuous husband Jason, Dimitri and Zoe nursing the loss of their real-world son Adam, Hudson the single father, Cadman and Gabriel the gays. Could one or two of these couples have been culled to give greater focus to the more interesting ones, who for me was Woody and Tina?
I liked Cadman and Gabriel.
I know, I liked them as well.
Became more developed as they came
I liked them as well, but nah, Woody and Tina, just because they're a psychopath daughter locked in the basement. Come on, like.
Well, that became a better story because she went on
to do
stealth
a madness.
mission.
Yeah, she went on to do a madness.
I mean, she was going to do a madness.
She did a madness before the guy was in the basement in the first place.
I like the scene where the AI bot asks the parents, "I'm not real, am I? You aren't my parents, though. Is this the author going to perform a Turing test on us without our consent?"
Yeah,
cheeky boy. It's always better without consent anyway. I mean, in an experiment, you don't want people to know you're experimenting on them. The Turing test, for those of you who don't know, is a test for intelligence in a computer requiring that human beings should be unable to distinguish the machine from another human being using the replies to questions put to both. Okay, that's what it's saying. The Turing test is not new, and most computers probably could pass it in this day and age. But just like in the film Ex Machina, the advanced level of the test is when you know and can see what you are dealing with is clearly a robot, but still you are tricked into believing that what you're seeing is a sentient being. And that's what I was preparing for when reading this book, and I wasn't disappointed. Like certain times where the AI children were terminated, and I felt that was a bit harsh or unfair or whatnot, and I thought that's what the author did a good job of. You know, we kind of saw the AI as more than just ones and zeros. Even though we knew they weren't children, we were a bit like, oh, no, you know.
Yeah, there's like a little bit of.
But the problem is,
it's such a good mimic of humanity.
Yeah, and we didn't even remember. We're just reading the book as well.
Yeah,
you know, if you're there, you're gonna think it's an injustice.
Yeah,
sort of thing.
For me, Izzy is the best character in the book. A girl with superior intelligence and a psychopathic disposition, imprisoned by her own parents for murdering another child, an expert at chess from the age of 10, she still plays against her father Woody and wins with relative ease. I remember when I used to let you win, Woody remarks. I remember when I used to let you. I remember when I used to let you believe that, she replies. Izzy is more than just charm and wit, however. She's also capable of using her intellect for deadly purposes, such as when she accesses the metaverse through Tina's avatar and strangles Baby Belle live on air. So, if that's your daughter, what did you do?
One thing I really didn't like is, why did they kill her off in that manner?
Oh, what? At the end?
In a shipping container. Like, what kind of stupidness was that? Just randomly.
It's not necessary to kill her off at all, to be honest. But
yeah, and then kill her off in just some shipping container. The boat just capsizes.
in a book full of conveniences, something random just happened out of nowhere. Backstories.
We could or should have had a selection process where the couples pitch why they should be selected, and then it would make sense why everybody is so interested. I love how now we've got an extra plot with the psycho daughter plotting to kill her parents. So Dimitri, which is another couple, finds out that his wife Zoe has been dressing up a doll in their dead son's baby clothes and has been feeding it, burping it, and changing it for the last 8 years behind his back. And in Zoe's defense, she said, "When I needed you to grieve for our Adam, you wouldn't let me, and this is my way of coping." Dimitri said, "What's that supposed to mean? I never stopped you." "But you did, when you made the aftermath all about you. It was about your broken heart, your lost son, you. People felt sorry for you. I was his mother, so I was the one that people blamed. I was the one that they said should have been more careful, and I shouldn't have let him out of my sight. I was vilified." "That's not fair," Dimitri said. "No, what's not fair is that I lost a child too that day, but I had to hold it together for the two of us because your grief was too busy crippling you." In future, I should be doing one bit. You should be doing another bit. We could be in character. In this seemingly simple conversation, I discovered layers of profound complexity. Why is it that a woman's expression of emotions, however it manifests, is often deemed entirely acceptable, justified under the umbrella term of trauma? Yet when a man endures the same exact trauma, he is expected to embody unshakable stoicism, a pillar of emotional stability. Should he falter under the weight of his pain, it is seen not as human but as a flaw. This dynamic reveals itself all the time in society. So yeah, the way she put her emotions on him to say oh, you should have been a man, I had to hold it down, as if his emotions are not acceptable. So,
well, certainly less significant than
definitely. So, you know, we get these forms of indoctrination all the time in the books. Even though it's realistic. So it's like
definitely realistic, because like, say what you want about, you know, gender equality, if you pay attention to what people say online and act according to what people say, you will not find success in this world, because people don't say what they want, you know.
Yeah.
So necessarily people want a man, a traditional man, whether they say it or not,
till they get him.
Well,
and then he's abusive.
No, that's not what I mean. But I mean, like, I said to this girl at work, I literally said, you know, if you think you want a man that's showing his emotions, if he cries every day, how are you gonna feel? You know? You know, he breaks his fingernail, starts crying.
Yeah.
You're just there like.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like, it's not something that everybody wants.
Yeah.
But
they want an AI bot that they can control. Oh, it's just too much tears today. I want him to cry along with the film, but when life gets hard, I want him to...
Cool, buildabitch.com. You want to be able to assemble your own boyfriend, which, look, I'm sure...
At the appropriate proportions.
Proportions.
You can with attachments.
Yeah,
you can Today I don't need the BBC. I don't know why my mind went there. I wasn't talking for me.
Think about what you can do. You get over it. But I think it's realistic, because that is
just what my face painted.
That's my that's my experience of life as well. You know, women and emotions are gonna run roughshod over everybody else's. And it's literally, it doesn't matter what you're feeling. It doesn't matter if you lost your son. Like, I should be grieving harder than you. And if I'm not grieving harder than you, then I'll do what I want.
Literally.
Because she said he didn't let her grieve.
Yeah.
But if she was the one criticizing the way he was grieving.
Exactly.
He didn't criticize the way she grieved. He said what you did is creepy and weird.
Well, he did say, he said, what do you say if you lost your fucking mind when she came clean to him? But she was doing it for 8 years, birthing a doll.
Birthing a doll.
For 8 years behind his back.
Jesus. So I've been sleeping with a crazy person. General rule of life is don't stick your dick in crazy.
That's what they say.
Always come back to bite you. 2 things you never stick your dick in: toasters and crazy women.
There's more than 2, all right.
I thought this book was confusing already. I had no idea. So Izzy murdered a boy with a brick, except she didn't. Woody did. Hudson is Hudson, except he isn't. Adam is Hudson, and Hudson is Leo. Jaden was cheating on Selena, except he wasn't. He was accepting money from women to get them pregnant. Best job ever. Then he was murdered. It was extremely confusing.
We still don't know why he was murdered.
We don't know why he was murdered. We don't know why... Well, we worked out that Leo was on the boat at the same time as Adam, and then Adam died, but then he didn't.
We don't know why Hudson or Leo turned off his doll at the end.
We don't know why anybody involved in this story was called Hudson. At all.
Yeah.
For any reason. It was a silly nickname they picked from the beginning of the book. They didn't really need to pick it in the first place. They could just had his name on his whatever.
This is my last point. Yeah. Alright, I'll admit that the book is good, but the whole main plot actually makes no sense. Hudson, or Adam, or Leo, wants to blow the lid off an AI conspiracy that uses children to develop their bots. The companies traffic children where a lot of the time they are killed. The main character's plan is to show the public what's really happening. The problem is, not only would people who are regularly used to having their eyes having their eyes tricked be harder to convince of a truth, but somebody who has a taste of that AI addiction is not about to give that up. Lots of things we benefit from every single day is over the dead bodies of children, and we simply do not care. Just like the cobalt in your phones, for example, just like the sweatshops for your clothes, just like the bananas that come from Brazil, for us to try and pretend that Hudson, the main character, is going to take down a billion-dollar industry because now we know that children are being exploited is laughable at best. Yeah. AI is more addictive than bananas, clothes, and even your iPhones. So that means the whole plot makes no sense at all whatsoever because he's trying to blow the lid off the conspiracy and we're not going to care. AI is going to conquer all. Simple as that.
If we can't see it, if it's not close enough for us to see it, we don't care.
Yeah, oh, exactly.
If it's, children dying 11,000 miles.
Not to mention, they already exploit the children to already develop the software.
Like,
so
how
they...
am I even going to get there to care? It's 11,000 miles away.
Yeah.
I got work in the morning. So that's the perception in the West.
But yeah, so... Yeah, so they did explain in the end the reason why everyone's got a backstory, interesting backstories, because the developers of the game actually put Hudson, they rigged the game for Hudson to win, so they got people who they could control. But still, if they had a, but still, yeah, exactly. But still, if they had a selection process in the beginning of the book where we kind of choose who we want in the book, it would have taken out the element of the far-fetched story because we would know that we selected these people out of a pool of whatever, and that's why.
That's very simple to set up as well.
Exactly. Because as I said, while I'm reading the whole book, I'm like, this is so far-fetched. This is so far-fetched. It was ruining the book for me. Honestly, it was ruining the book. It hasn't ruined the book overall because, as I said, it's still worth reading. But if not for that, I probably would have rated this book a whole lot higher. Yeah. A whole lot higher. Especially because it's a fresh, original idea and whatnot. But yes.
So, what would you rate the book out of 5? Or 10?
Let's rate it out of 100.
100?
I don't know. Rating wise, I think it's hard. I'll give it a solid 3.5.
3.5.
I want to give it a 4.
I didn't know I was doing this and a half thing. So you've changed the canon.
I think halves are always, it's a given. If I say quarter now, then yeah.
5.
If I say quarter now, then you're taking a piss. But that's 3.5. I would have said we could have had a solid 4 out of 5 if it wasn't so far fetched or didn't.
I would just say 3. I wouldn't say 3.5. I'd just say 3.
3.5.
I think 3 is actually a very respectable score in my opinion. It doesn't need to add the half to like pacify them, whatever. You should.
No, but I think it's. I think. Yeah, fair enough.
I would say 3 to be honest.
Would you say this is better than his other book that we read?
What was it again?
I can't even remember. I don't remember anything.
Well, if you don't remember it,
I don't remember nothing about it. Fair enough. All right, listen. We'll leave it at that then, won't we? Unless you got nothing. Oh, I forgot about that. Why don't you remind me? I always remind you, and you don't remind me. Snake. Oh, because you want to even the score. That's why. Because the only way you can get a quote that's better than mine is when I haven't got a quote.
You just made up a load of shit out of nowhere, just out of thin air.
Are you gonna
start writing books? Quote of the day: a man cannot remake himself without suffering, for he is both the marble and the sculptor.
That's quite good, actually.
That is quite good, isn't it?
You're definitely shooting yourself now because you might have been able to beat me if I had a quote.
So
now
I wasted it on the video where you don't have a quote.
Yeah.
Do you know what it was? I didn't even prepare a quote, but I had one on my Twitter in my bookmark saved that I saw early in the week, and I clicked it, and I meant to add it to the thing, and I forgot, and I realized we're coming up on the end of the show, and I was like, oh, damn, we didn't think of the quote.
Oh, so you just did this in?
I just pulled this up now. That's why I said, what would you rate the book out of 5? Because I could tell you it's about to end the video.
Oh,
while I was
that was so you did some underhand skullduggery.
Stealth mission.
Yeah. That was quite good. Man is both the marble and the sculptor. I think it could have just been that, you know.
It could have been. I was going to say that.
I think it could have been that because it makes you think. But yeah, the marble. But I wouldn't. If you had said it like just that, I wouldn't have got it. You might have had to say the material and the sculptor.
But even then, I couldn't be asked to rewrite it. It was already.
No, I'm not saying. Oh yeah, it was.
But yeah, look, I thought about that myself as well because I was even like, is there a way that we could just have man is both marble and the sculptor kind of thing?
I think that's a bad boy quote. Man is both the marble and the sculptor. Man is both the sculptor and the marble.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good.
I think that's very, very good, and it's very
good one
true.
To leave reviewers on.
Yeah. All right then, marbles. Till next time. Was that not philosophical? Till next time.